So before we start counting anything down, let me set this up properly. This isn't a weekend getaway for us. This isn't a place we're just passing through with a camera and a plan. DeLand is our town. This is where we live. We drive these streets when we're not filming. We grab coffee here on random Tuesdays. We know which turns to avoid, where parking is easy, and which places are worth repeating instead of just seeing it once. And that matters because DeLand often gets talked about like it's a quick stop, a charming downtown, a college town you swing through on the way to somewhere else. Frankly, that undersells it. DeLand works best when you understand how things connect: the history, the parks, the university, and the everyday places people actually use. If you don't, it's easy to miss half of what makes it worth your time. I'm ChadGallivanter. Stories examined carefully wherever you go. If you only walk one stretch of DeLand, make it Woodland Boulevard. This is the spine of downtown. You can park once, walk in any direction, and keep running into places that are worth stopping for. This is where you find Anna Banana's Home Market, the kind of place you pop into casually and then realize you've been inside longer than planned. Local art, home goods, personality. Our bed came from here, as well as a lot of the things you see in this studio. It's very DeLand. The marketplace at Rivertown sits right nearby and works as a quick snapshot of some of the best antique collectors in the region. When you need a pause, Sidecar Market and Bar does that job perfectly. Coffee earlier in the day, cocktails later, and a crowd that clearly knows the place. Across from the courthouse, newfangled Modern Market has been reimagined as an upscale plant and home decor shop with plenty of vintage thrown in as well. Be sure to check out the vault in the back. You'll find some really good things inside. Pretty Little Things adds style and curation and some of the best local products you'll find. And the DeLand Museum of Art adds substance. It's small, approachable, and worth the stop. Food is woven into this stretch. DeLand Bagel with its New York-style bagels handles mornings. Mr. Bill's is my go-to for a quick lunch and fresh homemade donuts. Pat and Tony's Sweet Things taps into old-fashioned candy nostalgia. And Cafe Da Vinci is still the town's living room. Music, conversation, caffeine, drinks. It's all been happening here for decades. Once you've walked Woodland, the rest of DeLand starts to open up naturally. And one of those next steps leads straight into art. This is where you slow down just enough to notice things. The mural walk isn't one straight line. It's scattered, which is the point. You're meant to wander, cut down side streets, and see parts of downtown you would otherwise skip. The DeLand Wings by local artist and friend of mine, Erica Group, get the attention. Sure, they're fun, but the real value is how the murals pull you deeper into town. You start noticing buildings, storefronts, and corners you didn't clock before. By the time you're done, downtown already feels familiar, and that didn't happen by accident. You really can't understand DeLand without understanding why it exists. Henry Addison DeLand didn't just found a town. He built one around education and culture. That idea still shapes the place. Walking Stetson University gives DeLand structure. It's an active campus, but it's open, calm, and easy to explore. The Stetson Mansion shows the other side of that story. Money, ambition, architecture, all turned up to 11. Touring it puts the town into context. And nearby, the Henry DeLand House brings the scale back down. It grounds all of that history into something personal and human. Together, these places explain why DeLand looks and operates the way it does. Once you've taken all of that in, downtown culture makes more sense. The Athens Theater isn't just a venue, it's a reason people stick around after dinner. Concerts, plays, film events, there's almost always something on the calendar. Even if you don't see a show, seeing it lit up at night changes the energy of downtown. If you can time your visit with a performance, do it. It turns a regular night into a memorable one. And if you want a quieter version of downtown, you don't have to go far. Northwest Square works because it already had good bones. This was once a historic church, and instead of tearing it down or turning it into something generic, it was reimagined as a food hall and event space. You can still see the structure if you look up, the high ceilings, the openness, the way sound carries. It doesn't hide what it used to be. Today, it's a mix of food vendors, shared seating, and community space that gives you a break from the busier parts of downtown. You're not shoulder to shoulder, you're not rushing, and it's easy to stay longer than planned. Most folks associate Kermit's with Key West, or at least with the Keys in general. They don't expect to find it here in DeLand. And because it's tucked away in an industrial part of town, a lot of visitors don't realize it exists at all until they're told about it. The DeLand location works as both a shop and a production hub. This is where a lot of the pies and frozen treats are made before being shipped around the country. DeLand gives them room to operate without the headaches of a dense tourist area. For visitors, that means you get the same classic key lime pie made the right way without crowds or fuss. It's a quick stop, but it adds an unexpected layer to the town. So good. These two parks show different sides of old Florida, and I would say they're better together. DeLand Springs State Park is social and historic, and a big part of that is the Pancake House. This isn't a themed restaurant or a gimmick. You sit down at a table with a griddle built right into it, and they bring you out pitchers of batter. You cook the pancakes yourself, flip them when you're ready, stack them how you want, and move at your own pace. It turns breakfast into something communal, where conversations stretch a little longer because no one's rushing you out the door. The menu is intentionally simple. Pancakes, eggs, sausage, a few basics, because the point isn't variety, it's the experience. Families linger, strangers compare flipping techniques, and everyone leaves slightly more relaxed than when they came in. And the best part is that when you're done eating, you're already inside a state park. You can walk it off along the spring, take a swim when it's open, or just sit and watch the water move. It's one of those places where the activity and the setting are inseparable, and that's why it sticks with people. Blue Springs State Park shifts dramatically depending on the time of the year. Outside of winter, it's a quiet place for boardwalk walks and river views. During manatee season, typically from November through March, the spring run becomes a refuge for hundreds of manatees, and the park turns into one of the best places in the state to see them in a natural setting. Swimming is closed during that time, but the viewing experience more than makes up for it. If you only do one of these parks, you miss what makes the pairing work. Rodeo Whip has always been about the basics done right. Soft serve, familiar flavors, and no overthinking. Recently, the interior got a makeover that leans fully into its Old West name, with warm tones and Western touches that make it even more fun to step inside instead of just ordering at the window. It's still casual, still quick, and still a place where you'll see the same faces coming back again and again. This is a regular stop for a reason. And just when you think you've got DeLand figured out, the town pulls you somewhere even more quiet. This is the side of DeLand that explains why the town exists where it does. Pontoon Island State Park already forces you to change pace. You have to take a small ferry to get there, which filters out the noise immediately. Once you're on the island, it's quiet trails, river views, and space to breathe. Nearby is the Bartram Garden and Trail, and this part matters. The trail is named for William Bartram, an 18th century naturalist and explorer who traveled extensively through Florida in the 1770s. His journals are some of the earliest detailed written accounts of Florida's landscapes, wildlife, and indigenous cultures. Walking this trail means moving through land he documented centuries ago. And that rowing club building you see along the river isn't random. The St. Johns River has always been a working river, a transportation route long before highways existed. Rowing and boating here are modern uses layered onto a very old relationship between people and the water. This area connects DeLand to something older than downtown, older than the university, older than the town itself. If you want real context, this is where you'll get it. Ending here matters because Skydive DeLand is the curveball. This quiet, historic, nature-anchored town is also one of the most important skydiving destinations in the world. That's right. People come here from across the globe for one reason: the conditions, the expertise, the reputation. You don't have to jump to appreciate it. Just standing nearby and watching parachutes drift down while everyday life carries on resets your expectations of the town. If you're adventurous, this is one of the best places anywhere to do it. If you're not, it's still a reminder that DeLand isn't just one thing. Next door is the Airport Gin Mill, a staple in DeLand, where you can sit outside and watch the planes come and go as you eat. That's our town. Not flashy, not rushed, and better the longer you spend with it. If you enjoyed this episode of the Gallivanter podcast, make sure to follow or subscribe on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you listen. For more travel stories, videos, and detailed show notes, head over to ChadGallivanter.com. Wherever you go, take the story with you. Can't wait to get back into this pie.